There are a few words that come to mind for today's video: sparkling, luxurious, crystals. And today I'm going to show you how to use some awesome products to create an awesome piece of fluid art. And I'm going to show you a new product that will get you into the mood while creating. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Swirling Glitter. This product is a product from WYNN Modern Art, and it is edible. They also sell a crystal dust that is edible, vegan, gluten-free, 100% edible sparkle. Now tell me you wouldn't like an interference drink while creating a piece of art or dipping your spoon into this. So check it out on WYNNModernArt.com. There is a discount code, and it is flavorless, so you can add it into water. You can use it in anything. All right, my friends, I'm excited for this one today, so let's get started. Alrighty, so as usual, this is a teaching tutorial. I will teach you step by step how to use the products I'm using, and also list all of those products in the description of this video. This is a 16 by 20 gallery wood canvas with 2-inch thick sides. When you work on wood, you need to protect the sides if you want them to stay natural looking. So I use one layer of masking tape on them, and then I go around again with aluminum tape. Today's inspiration is crystal. We are inspired by crystals, and we are going to make a magnificent piece of art using them. These are some real agate slices that I'm showing you, otherwise known as geodes. And you'll see here I got a plate full of crystal points. I have fiberglass, not only in reflective, but also in clear. You want to have both types, and I will explain to you why in a minute. The name of this fiberglass is Celestial Fiberglass, and it is a 1/4 inch thick. I also have some quartz rocks that I may use. My favorite thing, glitter glass from Myers, some mini cubic zirconias, and some much bigger but still tiny cubic zirconias. So you'll notice some pencil drawing on this canvas. I like to kind of map out my design first. A lot of times I don't stick with it, but it kind of just gives me an idea of where I'm going to put what. That is totally optional. You can go ahead and pour either resin or acrylic paint that has been thinned down to do this. This technique I'm showing you is able to be done with either product, either acrylic pouring paints or with resin that is colored. So the first thing you need to do is put down your crystals where you want to put them on the canvas. I will explain in a moment why I'm putting the reflective glass down on the bottom first and around the edge. Okay, so I have my stones down. I'm going to be adding more to the pile, like more stones, glitter, stuff like that. But I have the beginning of those areas. And you'll notice here I have a few real quartz crystals. So I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to glue these down just to temporarily hold them in place. Don't mind my nails. I have paint under them. Oh, I'm a mess. I'm going to temporarily glue them down with the glue gun. And what I'm going to do now is mix up some KS resin. And it is the Liquidy Split brand. It's a fast setting resin because I don't want to wait 24 hours for this step to progress. So I'm going to use that resin to get these somewhat cemented down right away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a thick barrier of resin around the outer edge so that when we do the color portion of this video, the color won't be able to seep underneath the rocks and you'll see it. This is going to stay nice and crystal clear if you put that barrier around. So what I'm going to do is mix up that resin and come back and drizzle it all over this area. And then, like I said, let that barrier go around, form it around the outer edge. Think of it as almost sealing in this area so that nothing can get in, all right? Because we want it really crystal clear and sparkly. So you can see I have a little area here that I cleaned out to put my crystals inside. So I'm going to put some hot glue. You know what? I'll probably just put it on the end of the crystal here. And I'm doing this off screen because my glue gun is in an impossible to film area. So here we go. Just going to take it. And like I said, this is just to temporarily hold it. Once the resin gets in there, it'll be permanent. So another thing you could do here is just plop that glue right in there. Put a nice wad of it. You won't see it. I'm just gonna stick it there like that. That we're gonna put right in there, like that. So there, we have our crystal points. And again, those are real quartz crystals. So now, like I said, we'll go back in with the KS Liquid Art Ultra, not Ultra, Liquidy Split. That's the fast setting resin. It cures in 4 hours. So we'll go ahead and use that for the next portion of this video. And then when it comes to the regular, making the colors of resin, we're going to use the Liquid Art Ultra UV resin. I have down the reflective glass and the clear glass. Now the reflective glass, you want it underneath the clear glass so that it creates some shadowing and some depth. And although there are pieces that are still exposed, by the time I'm done adding the rest of the crystals on, you will not see those. So what I now have to do is affix these permanently to the wood canvas. So I have some KS Liquidy Split resin. This is a fast setting resin. It will be cured in 4 hours. So, we don't want to wait for 24 hours for these to be ready and to be able to do the next step. We want little simple jobs like this to be done really quick. And I have you zoomed in just so you could see what I'm doing here. So again, I'm using KS Resin's Liquidy Split version. It's a 15-minute working resin. So you have 15 minutes to do what you got to do with it. All right, so I've mixed it up. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just drizzle it over the stones. Just like this. All right, we're going to go all over them. Then what I'm going to do when I'm done doing this, and the resin starts to warm up a little bit, you'll feel it starting to get warm and it'll start getting thicker on you. I will go around and I will seal the outer edge. So I'll take the resin and I'll literally string it along just like this out around the outer edge so that I seal in this area right here so that when we pour our color in this next section, it can't seep underneath, all right? Because what can happen is, if you use blue, we'll use blue for an example, and you pour it right here, resin spreads out, it'll go underneath here, and then you'll have blue staining underneath your rocks, which makes it look messy. So we want to seal that edge so that that can't happen. And sometimes it still happens. It's unavoidable. I've been making geodes for many, many years, and a lot of times it still does happen. But you can fix it. You can just put some clear glass on there, and we like to always outline the outer stones with either gold or silver, so it all works. So anyway, I'm just drizzling. That's all I'm doing. And while this is wet, I will go ahead and add more stones on top and some of the glitters that I showed you. The only glitter you don't want to use right away is the German glass glitter, the big flake glitter. Let me find it here. This stuff right here. You don't want to use this until the very end, because if you go and put resin on top of this, it loses its luster. It just, masks it. So what I do is on the very last stage, which I'll show you this, this is when I use this stuff, when I'm all done putting resin on. So here we go. I have a lot of this video time-lapse because it's a very long process. It was multiple layers of work. But anyway, I'm creating that barrier I spoke about that will keep the colors from seeping under your rocks and destroying the clarity of it. If you get drips of resin on your canvas, just be sure to wipe them down. It doesn't matter that it's there. It just needs to be flat. So just smear it out. Okay, so that first layer is dry, and now I just wanted to give you a valuable tip, especially if you're working with a fast-setting resin. You want to get your colors into the cups before you start to mix your resin. Have your gloves on, have everything all set up so that you do not waste time opening jars, putting lids back on, setting up while your resin's already mixed up. So you want to prepare all of this stuff ahead of time. Now, my colors will be listed in the description, but I'm going to show them to you as soon as I mix them here. All right, so I have my colors in the cup, and I'm going to fill them up with my resin. Now, this resin here is the Liquid Art Ultra UV resin, the 45-minute plus working time resin. I got some beautiful new colors. Oh my goodness. They are from Dianka Pours. She's a YouTube artist, and I stumbled on her channel, and she makes the most gorgeous geodes, and she sells these products. So I said, let me try them out. I bought some, and this gold is absolutely phenomenal. It rises to the top, which means when you apply heat to it, the little particles rise to the top, and it goes from that deep gold to this bright, luxurious gold. And yeah, it's just really beautiful. It reminds me a lot of the liquid gold that I use, but that's a liquid, not a powder. So yeah, I gave it a try, and this deep chestnut color was gorgeous also. So as you can see, I kind of follow just a pattern. If I put down gold, brown, white around one cluster of crystals, I'll do the same on the other, two that I have there. Gold, brown, white. And then I just kind of go with intuition, even though I did map out what I wanted to do ahead of time. Again, that was just a general guideline for me to see where I wanted things to go, but sometimes I go off the path and get another idea. So that's what you're seeing here. Now, as far as these products go, I do not have a discount code for them. I know somebody's going to ask me that. I'm just a customer that bought these and tried them, but I will put the link to her website in the description and also her channel. Be sure to check her out and tell her that you came over there because of me. I like to try to support and, give a little shout out to those that inspire me. So now I have most of my board has resin on it. However, I ran out, and there were a few areas I still had to do. So I figured while I had time, I would just take my heat gun and heat up these areas a little bit, and then come back in and add more resin. I ran out of the white and the brown, I believe, that I needed. So I took the heat gun, just moved it a little tiny bit. Typically, you would wait till all your colors are on the board to heat it up, but I just decided to do it there. And then you saw me pouring that beautiful gold around the edge of the rock area. It's just so beautiful. So now I have all my resin down and I need to let it cure before I do anything else, okay? So we're going to put it to bed for 24 hours and then come back. Okay, so the next thing I need to do are my glitter lines. Now, these are extremely important when it comes to creating geode art. You want the most perfect lines possible. So first, let me introduce you to 24K glitter from WYNN Modern Art. It is the most dazzling glitter ever. And then also I have Sedona Sunrise. This stuff was magic in this painting. But here's a little pro tip for you. This is how I get perfect lines. I get these bottles at the Dollar Tree, 2 for $1. I pour the glitter and resin mixture into the bottle and look how perfectly it works. You can also use a syringe, but I find a syringe, that first couple of pushes, sometimes it plops out on you, or there can be an air bubble in there. So the Dollar Tree bottles work really, really well. And you can see they just make these beautiful, perfect lines. You want your glitter to be thick, though. You want to have more glitter than resin. You don't want it to pour off the stick. You want it to thickly plop off of the stick. That is the perfect consistency. And then the lines won't spread out. They will stay just as you put them down. So I went ahead and added all the lines onto the board. And then I went ahead and added just a little more clear resin to the crystal areas and sprinkled in just some of this white glitter. It's like a chunky white glitter that I had. So here we are so far. Now we need to let this dry before we move on to the next step. So we'll wait 24 hours and come back. Next step, before I go add a top coat on this, I need to take some clear varnish, any brand will work, some of that gold powder that I bought from Dianka Pours, or you can also use liquid gold by MTN, even spray paint if you want. I mixed the two together and I started painting the edge of the crystal areas just to make it blend in more so there's not a hard line there. Once you're done doing that, you could also do touch-ups with this in your gold areas if you need to, but you're going to let it dry. I let mine dry for about 4 hours and then moved on to the next step, which is outlining. This is one of the most important parts of creating a piece of art like this, lines and outlines. What this is going to do is almost create a 3D look. Well, it does, not almost, it does create a 3D look, and it cleans up those edges of the glitter. Now, although I am outlining these right now, I'm going to come back in after I put down another layer of resin and literally trace over them again, because that really creates the depth. So once your lines are dry, put down a clear coat of resin, spread it all over the place, drizzle a little bit in your rocks, add a little more rocks if you want to create some more volume in those areas. Let it cure, and then go ahead and add lines again right over the top of the lines you drew before. So you can see the original lines, and I'm going right over the top of them. And you can see that brown line that I'm doing right now, just how much depth that creates. It looks like it's sunken into the rock, like it's a vein that's going through the rock, if this was a rock. It's a canvas, but we're supposed to be imitating a rock. So, so yes, doing these lines again really, really helps. So as I said, you could also add more crystals, more glitter at this point. And if this is your last layer that you're doing, you can go ahead and add in your German glitter glass. You want to use that German glitter glass last when you're not going to put any more resin on top of it, because if you put it on top of it, it loses the ability to reflect off of light. So just sprinkle it on there and be done with it. This is the point where I add that. I add my little tiny cubic zirconias at this point. I like to sprinkle a couple here and there in the cluster pile, but a majority of them by the crystal points. And then I also add in the bigger cubic zirconias. So there you have it. That's it, my friends. And here is the finished result. Now, if that doesn't scream luxury, I don't know what does. And any one of you can do this if you follow along with the steps and watch learning tutorials all about resin. And like I said, you can do this with acrylic paint. You just have to wait a few days for the paint to dry instead of 24 hours for the resin to cure. But it's absolutely doable with acrylic pour paints. I will probably work on one of those next for you. But anyway, look at this beauty. She's a dazzler. Pay attention to those glitter lines. They are intense. Again, that comes from WYNNmodernart.com, along with those beautiful swirling edible glitters and crystal dust. I should be more clear. The swirling glitter is for the liquid. The crystal dust is to go on the food, but I'm pretty sure you could even add that one into liquid. I did it with water. I enjoyed a beautiful sparkling interference blue water last night. It's tasteless. It just looks beautiful. And again, vegan, gluten-free, all those good things. But back to this piece of art. I want to thank you so very much for joining me. You can see I took the tape off the sides, beautiful sides. And here's a view in the nighttime, my friends. Look at this. If you're interested in this piece of art, shoot me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com, and I'll give you all the information. Again, it's a 16 by 20 gallery wood canvas with 2-inch wood sides. Be sure to check out the description for all the discounts, all the ways to follow me on social media, and links to so many things. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you are not subscribed, please consider doing so and click the notification bell. Make sure it's on the word all, because it automatically defaults now to personalized, which means you will not get all of my notifications. So it has to be on all. My favorite thing, I think, in this whole painting is that Sedona Sunrise glitter. It is just alive, electric, magnifying. It's beautiful. Look at that. I love you all. Thank you so very much for joining me. And until the next time, happy pouring.